Greetings, everybody. Today I present you something that has barely touched the surface of YouTube. Like, literally no videos about it from big YouTubers, and even then, everybody's just unboxing it and like no performance. Meet the 4070 Super Ventus 2X in white. Now, when I said nobody made video of it, of course it's new, but it also has a non-super version and barely any videos about that either. As soon as Micro Center listed this during the 4070 Ti Super Duper launch, I let the intrusive thoughts win. That, and it kind of looks like my very first GPU, which is the 1070 Armor OC, also from MSI. Their Ventus line kind of resembles their classic design. Compared to the 1070 Armor, this is somewhat smaller by a few millimeters. At least this time around they made it look a bit nicer, and it comes in white. Now for some crispy peeling. So this little pal here is quite plasticky. The shroud feels plastic as well as the backplate. I'm not sure if the backplate's gonna help out with the heat, but I guess it makes it look cleaner. I mean, come on, MSI, you could have done better. So today we're gonna put this little pal in my Fractal Terra build. This is probably one of the tiniest 4070 Super GPU out there. Hell, they even have a 4070 Ti Super version of this 2X Ventus. I didn't get it because $200 for 20 FPS more? Nah. So now we're finally entering the gaming section of the video. There isn't going to be like graphs of the performance, and it's going to be more on temperatures, power usage, and then a stable undervolt. Because I haven't tested all of the undervolts, I'm just gonna update the description with my current and latest settings because it kind of varies on each graphics card. But there's always that safe middle point where like anyone can base on it and or use it. So we're gonna start with the 4070 Super in stock settings, featuring the best selling game for the month of January in the new year of 2024, NTSC World. Seems like we peak around 70 to 71 Celsius under 21 C ambient and 196 watts. It's fairly loud though, like 40 to 45% fan speed. It basically performs the same as my 1070 Armor, which is crazy. And I'm guessing because these manufacturers just target that 70 C temperature on their cards at stock. A couple minutes later, it was actually several, but I came up with 2700 megahertz core clock, 1800 or 1500 memory clock, and then 0.950 volts. Now the order is going to be a bit messier because Fortnite was the one that activated the instability of the undervolt settings. I will of course show you the procedure and how I do my undervolts at the end of these tests. But these settings are like medium to high with nanite, lumen activated, TSR on epic, and I dropped myself into a real lobby. Usually you'll find the instability as soon as you get out of the bus, or when you're gliding down to the ground. Got a nice short encounter here at Fencing Fields. Baited the enemy. And how I died? The way this guy died. I didn't really want to prolong this session, that's why I just kind of went in and rushed. Next, we test things out on what I'd like to call Hoyo versus Bank account. At 1.0 render resolution, 1440p, you get about 180 FPS in the town a fontaine. For some reason, nighttime provides less FPS, so I switched to that. With a base render resolution, you're pretty much like CPU capped. So 61 Celsius on the GPU and 139 watts, like pretty nice. By the way, these are with the Undervolt settings. Now switching to render resolution 1.5, we got a bit of a power consumption boost and a bit of heat, of course. Oh, did I mention that it almost cut around 80 FPS in our performance? Continuing on with 4-player co-op 1.5 render resolution inside the artifact domain. That GPU is ramping up, and every time somebody uses a skill or you put your face into Kazuha's ultimate, it'll really ramp that GPU usage close to 98%. Is it the right time to tell them that you're not that guy, pal? You're not that guy. So this is where I tell you how to do my undervolt. First, you can change the memory clock to 1800, 1500, 1000, whichever is most stable for you. And then you go to curve editor, find the voltage just after 950 millivolts, and then drag with your left mouse button, drag it to the right side until the end. Once that section is highlighted, drag the curve down below the desired voltage dot. And then hit the check mark on the main page of MSI Afterburner. Once that setting has been applied, go back to the desired voltage dot and drag it to 2700 megahertz. Usually you go for 2705 because if you go below that, it'll go to like 2800 something. Once you hit apply again, you save it on one of the numbers on the right side. You can lock it if you want. Press the window button on the top right so that it saves on boot. There's also another set of settings in MSI Afterburner where you can have it open when you boot up your computer. That's pretty much it. I don't know why, but every time I log into this world, it keeps giving me raids a few minutes later. But as you can see, we are capped at around 180 to 185 watts. On stock, it's around 200. And it'll even go lower if you use DLSS. So this is the in-depth version of what's happening with the GPU. This was like a total of an hour or two of testing. The maximum is from the stock settings. Average, don't care about that. The current is what's currently going on with the Undervolt in Palworld. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied with the GPU. You might get better cooling on the Asus Dual that also comes in white. It sort of fits the aesthetic of the Silver Terra, which I may or may not make a video about in the future. I also forgot to mention that the coil whine is kind of there. It exists. Wearing headphones might reduce that sound, or over time it might disappear. Who knows? With this GPU, I can fit it in a lot of ITX builds. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching and have a nice day out there.